Today was very interesting. Our favorite presidential candidate of all time, uh, Donald Trump. I don't know why. I'm just so used to calling him by his full name. I mean, not by his full name, my mistake, by his last name. Because there's really no other Trump of notability that whenever I say his full name, I kind of have this level of discomfort. I'm not really sure why. But whatever. So he accused uh, Ted Cruz of dishonesty. He's accused him of dishonesty before, but today he threatened to sue him for not being a natural born citizen. I kid you not. Now, I've already conveyed how I feel about that whole issue, which is that it's not an issue. He can run for president, and it's something that at this point should have died. I mean, these were concerns that were raised back in 2013, and 3 years later they're still floating around only because a fellow Republican presidential candidate who's running for the same position as the man whose citizenship is in question chose to bring it up. Now, he can go and lie and say, oh, well, I really was concerned that someone was going to bring it up on the Democrat side. And, he'd ruin it for everybody, for the whole Republican Party. But we know that it's really due to him wanting to stir up some type of suspicions which will inevitably lead to him gaining a bigger lead on Cruz and securing the nomination. Now, you could also argue that this is beneath him because, again, he's leading really at pretty much everywhere. Just any state poll, he's in first place. He's not in danger of losing or at the bottom. He's not Jeb Bush. If we want to use an example of a person who's actually struggling, whose closest thing to victory will be fourth place. I'm calling it. Doesn't get any higher than that. So, what I'm really just having a hard time wrapping my head around is how people, because see, I get his whole ridiculous shtick. I said shtick. I can't pronounce many words with any eloquence, but that is one I hope to have done well. Now, his shtick is to go around insulting other candidates and, as people have said, be the bully. And that's all well and good, except for the fact that in this case, the bully is threatening some level of legality issue or some legal issues against this senator who has done nothing to him. So I'm confused as to how he can sue him. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense. It's not anything that anybody can get behind because it just doesn't flow with what is possible, what is probable, and what actually adds up, what is feasible. The man is merely trying to stir up attention to his own candidacy, which has had attention for the entire time he's been running for this office. So his motivations to me at this point seem to just be downplay the individual running against him and make himself seem as if he is the only choice of the party, when he is fully aware that Cruz and Rubio are the closest things to stopping him. And this could be taken any way anyone wants to spin it. If one of those two drops out, I guarantee the remaining one, whoever it is, whichever it is, will garner the supporters of the candidate that dropped out, and they will match him, be on par, and be capable of defeating. And that's the problem with this whole primary. When they had the 17 people in there initially, and Rick Perry dropped out back in September, which narrowed it to 16. I kept thinking to myself, how are they going to distance themselves or make themselves seem feasible? And when I really thought about it, it makes sense to me. These candidates are not so disliked by the voters but there are merely too many options for anyone to pose a credible threat to Trump. Even now, it's still, what, 6 people? Majority of the field is gone, yes, but at this point, I'm just questioning why we've had to wait this long, and why we've gone multiple months with this enormous field that is finally narrowing down at last, which even then it's still sort of kind of large enough to have several people who could win the office. What I'm getting at here in this rambling is that the only reason Trump has risen to where he is name recognition, and yes, there is a level of popularity around it, but I think that mainly is tied to name recognition. Most people don't know who Rick Perry is. Most people don't know who Carly Fiorina is. Most people don't know who Scott Walker is. The whole reason this man's even been able to do well is because he is notable. He's famous on his own. Cruz is not. Rubio is not. But I guarantee if one of those two dropped out, the other one would achieve Mitt Romney-like celebrity status in just terms of being this well-known politician. And I guarantee if that happens, again, whichever one goes out, one of those two, the one that stays in, will be able to defeat him. It's not going to be because they were the right guy all along. It's going to be because there are enough Republicans that have brains, and to say every supporter of Trump is brainless, I'm not intending to say, but they have the common sense to know this is not a person that can realistically defeat either of the Democrat candidates in the general election. And they want their party to win and take back the White House. So they're seeking to essentially do something which can give them a fair shot, and they know he won't. So all I'm getting at in this lengthy, long-winded video is that the only way they win, and I know I've gone from talking about him suing, but it just goes back to he's not. This is another reason why you can't take him seriously. Why I don't understand why so many people are supporting him. I don't get it. I don't understand at all how an entire base of support garnered around this man, except for the fact that they knew who he was. And if that's the case, any celebrity can run for any office and just get elected, or at least be very popular in the primary. So again, that's my view. Is he is kind of a joke candidate. I don't know how he's been able to stay in this long. I didn't take him seriously until this month, because there was this consensus that he would get out, but he hasn't. And I know a lot of us would love for him to. But again, as long as Cruz and Rubio stay in, I still believe and am confident there is a good chance of a credible Republican defeating him in the primary. And I'm thankful for that. So have a good day.